When you picture Australia's rich list, you probably think of mining magnates and flashy tech billionaires. But there's a quieter, more powerful, and more profound story woven deeply into the country's economic and social fabric. It's a story of astonishing resilience, tight-knit community, and incredible generosity that often began with little more than a flicker of a dream in a new land. These are the unforgettable tales of families who fled persecution, the horrors of war, and crushing poverty, arriving on Australian shores to build commercial empires that would fundamentally reshape the nation. They had the vision and tenacity to turn small, humble shops into dominant retail chains, single factories into global manufacturing powerhouses, and empty tracts of land into the vibrant heart of community life. Today, we're counting down the 10 biggest Jewish family businesses that became household names, titans of industry, and philanthropic giants. These are the families who shaped modern Australia through their stunning entrepreneurial spirit and their enduring legacies of giving back. Let's get into it. Number 10. The Werdiger family. Kicking off our list at number 10 is a family whose name is quite literally written across the Melbourne skyline, the Werdiger family. Their story is a powerful lesson in human survival, long-term vision, and the quiet wisdom of playing the long game in property. The family's patriarch, the late Nathan Werdiger, was a Polish-born Holocaust survivor who endured the unimaginable horrors of Auschwitz. In a heart-wrenching twist of fate, he and his brother were the only members of their immediate family to survive the genocide. After being rescued from the Buchenwald concentration camp in 1945, Nathan arrived in Melbourne in 1949, determined to build a new life from the ashes of his old one, and got his start in the post-war textile trade. He possessed a razor-sharp business sense and quickly did well. But his true genius was recognizing the need to pivot from the volatile, fast-paced rag trade to the steady, tangible world of bricks and mortar. He understood that property wasn't just another investment, it was a way to plant permanent, unshakable roots in his new home. This profound insight led to the creation of the Juilliard Group, which would grow to become one of Melbourne's largest and most significant private landlords. Under Nathan's astute guidance, and later that of his son Shlomo, the Juilliard Group methodically acquired a formidable portfolio of major commercial properties, focusing on prized CBD office space. Their holdings expanded to include iconic Melbourne buildings like 459 Collins Street and 535 Burke Street. For many years, they held these blue-chip assets with their cousins, the Letterman family. After Nathan passed away in 2015, the families made the momentous decision to separate their interests, triggering a massive and complex restructure in 2019. In a landmark deal worth over $400 million, the Werdigers bought out the Letterman stake, taking full and clear control of a CBD portfolio then valued at nearly $900 million. David Werdiger, Nathan's youngest son, has highlighted a common and successful path for immigrant families. You first build a thriving business, and then you pivot to real estate to secure your family's future for generations to come. The Werdiger family is the textbook example of this strategy, masterfully transforming the profits from textiles into a lasting property empire that continues to shape the heart of Melbourne. Number 9. The Besson family. At number 9, we have the Besson family, a name that has been at the very heart of Australian fashion and retail for decades. Their story begins with the immense strength and resilience of a Holocaust survivor. The late family patriarch, Marcus or Mark Besson, was born in Romania and survived the war before arriving in Australia in 1947 to start anew. He began his journey as a humble hosiery supplier, armed with determination but very limited resources. His life and the course of Australian retail changed forever when he married Eva Gandel in 1950. Eva's parents had started a small corsetry shop in Melbourne called Sussan back in 1939. Mark went into business with his brother-in-law, John Gandel, and together their combined ambition and vision transformed that single store into a national powerhouse. By the 1960s, Sussan was already one of Australia's largest and most recognizable fashion retailers. Their ambition didn't stop there. They expertly grew the Sussan brand while acquiring other iconic Australian chains like Suzanne Grey and Sportsgirl. At the same time, the family displayed incredible foresight by cleverly diversifying into property. They began buying stakes in the very shopping centers where their stores were key tenants, including a significant share of Melbourne's High Point. They later showed their sharp business instincts by selling their stake in High Point in two massive deals, first in 2006 for $621 million, and again in 2017 for $680 million. In 2003, ensuring the fashion empire remained a family legacy, Mark and Eva's daughter, Naomi Milgram, took full control of the Sussan Group. Beyond their commercial success, the family's philanthropy is immense. They founded the Besson Family Foundation in 1978, which has since donated many millions to the arts, health, and Jewish community causes. Their profound love for the arts culminated in the creation of the Tarawara Museum of Art in the Yarra Valley, the first major privately funded public art gallery in Australia, gifting their magnificent collection to the nation. Number 8. The Lieberman family. Coming in at number 8 is one of the most private yet powerful and influential dynasties in Australian business, the Lieberman family. Known for their vast and complex web of investments in property, technology, and finance, the family is famously media-shy, preferring to let their immense influence speak for itself. Their Australian story began after World War II, when brothers Jack and Chaim Lieberman arrived from Poland, having survived the Holocaust. Patriarch Jack laid the family's formidable financial foundation with a series of astute investments in commercial property. When Jack passed away in 1997, his son Boris took the reins and dramatically diversified their portfolio. He expanded into international stocks and made pioneering investments in the emerging field of biotech. Still, property remains the solid core of their enormous wealth. Through sophisticated investment vehicles like Monarch Property Partners, the Lieberman family effectively acts as a private bank for major developments, funding everything from luxurious hotels to massive apartment projects. Their investment style is often described as aggressive, frequently backing high-risk, high-reward ventures that traditional banks might shy away from. Now, the third generation is taking the family legacy in a fascinating new direction. Boris's daughter, Barry Lieberman, co-founded Small Giants, Australia's first certified B Corporation family office. It is dedicated to the growing field of impact investing, funding businesses that are designed to deliver a positive social or environmental return, such as regenerative agriculture and renewable energy. This represents a significant philosophical shift from old-school property development to a new model of purpose-driven capitalism. While their current wealth is difficult to pin down precisely due to their private nature, the family was noted as one of Australia's top 5 wealthiest back in 2013, and their quiet, pervasive influence continues to shape everything from high finance to social enterprise. Number 7. The Smorgon family. At number 7 is a family whose name was once emblazoned on everything from meat and paper to steel. The Smorgon family. Their story is an epic of relentless industrial ambition and features one of the largest and most complex family business sales in the nation's history. It all began in 1927 when the Smorgon brothers, who had fled the turmoil in Ukraine, opened a small, simple kosher butcher shop in the Melbourne suburb of Carlton. From that single, humble shop, the family's ambition exploded into a multi-generational industrial saga. Led by the legendary Victor Smorgon, the business expanded from the butcher shop into wholesale meat, then into canning and exporting. They forged Smorgon Consolidated Industries, a sprawling conglomerate that boldly moved into paper and packaging before making a daring leap into steel manufacturing. Using innovative mini-mill techniques, Smorgon Steel audaciously challenged the long-held monopoly of industry giants like BHP, eventually capturing a huge slice of the market. By the 1990s, the empire was enormous, and the family had grown into 7 distinct branches. In 1995, they made a monumental and almost unprecedented decision to sell it all off. They began a controlled divestment, which concluded with the 2007 sale of Smorgon Steel to BlueScope for $700 million. But this wasn't an end, it was a transformation. The 7 family branches went their own ways, each armed with huge capital from the sale. Victor Smorgon established a family office to manage new investments, and other branches founded their own highly successful firms, creating new legacies. The family's philanthropy is legendary, especially in Melbourne, with the Smorgon name gracing hospitals, art galleries, and universities. The Smorgon saga is a unique story of building a massive industrial empire from scratch, strategically dismantling it, and brilliantly reimagining a family fortune for a new era. Number 6. Solomon Lew. Our number 6 entry is not just a businessman, but a master corporate strategist, a retail visionary, and a name that has struck a unique combination of fear and respect into Australian boardrooms for 50 years, Solomon Lew. While many others on this list built their empires from the ground up, Lew's story is about taking a solid foundation and using aggressive, brilliantly timed strategies to construct a retail and investment giant. Lew inherited a small dress shop from his father in the 1960s, but harbored much bigger plans. His rare talent was seeing immense value where others saw none, and having the sheer guts and conviction to go after it. His first major public move was acquiring a stake in the struggling department store Myer in the 1980s. While his ultimate takeover bid failed, it earned him a reputation as a cunning and formidable operator and made him a very wealthy man in the process. The heart of Lew's empire today is Premier Investments, the powerful vehicle for his stable of powerhouse retail brands. He took control of the Just Group in a hostile takeover in 2008, bringing some of Australia's most beloved and ubiquitous brands under his single roof. Today, his vast portfolio includes Smiggle, Peter Alexander, Just Jeans, JJ's, Portman's, and Dottie. His retail genius is on full display in the stratospheric success of Smiggle and Peter Alexander. He took Smiggle, a quirky local stationery brand, and transformed it into a global phenomenon with stores across the world. He saw the untapped potential in Peter Alexander's niche pajama business and grew it into a dominant lifestyle brand with a fiercely loyal, cult-like following. These 2 brands alone are the crown jewels of his retail empire, generating hundreds of millions in sales and demonstrating his ability to build brands with incredible cultural currency. In the notoriously cutthroat world of Australian retail, Solomon Lew is, without a doubt, the king. Number 5. John Gandel. At number 5, we have the man who built the modern cathedrals of Australian shopping, John Gandel. His story is about the immense power of singular focus and the incredible wealth that can be created by turning a simple patch of suburban land into Australia's most valuable and iconic shopping center. Born in Australia to Polish-Jewish immigrants, John Gandel and his brother-in-law Mark Besson took over his parents' corsetry store Susan in the 1950s. While Besson focused on the fast-paced world of fashion, Gandel found himself increasingly drawn to the solid, long-term world of property. The defining moment of his extraordinary career came in 1983 when he bought the Chadstone Shopping Center for $37 million. He sold his entire stake in the successful Susan Group to focus exclusively on his real estate vision. It was an act of pure commercial genius. Over the next 40 years, Gandel poured his energy, capital, and vision into relentlessly developing Chadstone, transforming it from a simple suburban mall into a glittering, world-class destination proudly known as the fashion capital. Today, the Gandel Group owns a 50% share of Chadstone, an asset now valued in the billions, making it the undisputed crown jewel of his vast empire. The Australian Financial Review's 2024 Rich List estimated his wealth at over $8 billion. The family's Gandel Foundation is one of Australia's largest private philanthropic funds, having given away over $150 million to health, education, the arts, and both Jewish and general community causes. John Gandel's story shows the incredible power of a single visionary real estate bet. By buying, holding, and relentlessly improving one monumental asset, he built one of Australia's greatest and most enduring family fortunes. Number 4. The Lowy family. At number 4 is a family whose name is intrinsically woven into the Australian social fabric, the masterminds behind the global shopping center empire, Westfield. The Lowy family. Their story is one of surviving one of history's darkest chapters to build a global brand that completely redefined the retail experience for millions of people. The patriarch, Sir Frank Lowy, was born in Czechoslovakia in 1930. He survived the Holocaust in hiding in Hungary, though his father was tragically murdered by the Nazis in Auschwitz. Frank later fought in the 1948 Arab-Israeli War before immigrating to Australia in 1952 with almost nothing to his name. In 1953, he met fellow immigrant John Saunders, and they started with a small delicatessen in Sydney. Their partnership flourished, and in 1959, they opened their first American-style shopping center in Blackdown, which they called Westfield Place. Frank Lowy was a true visionary. He possessed an innate understanding that a shopping center could be far more than just a collection of stores. It could be a destination, a town square. He pioneered the idea of the mall as a community hub, complete with vibrant food courts, state-of-the-art cinemas, and inviting social spaces. The company expanded relentlessly across Australia and then embarked on an ambitious global expansion into the United States, New Zealand, and the United Kingdom. When the rise of e-commerce threatened traditional retail, Lowy didn't retreat. He doubled down, investing billions to make Westfield centers more luxurious, entertaining, and experiential to give people a compelling reason to show up in person. After more than 50 years at the helm, the family's journey reached a monumental peak in 2018 when they sold Westfield's international arm to a French property giant in a jaw-dropping $24.7 billion deal. Beyond business, Sir Frank Lowy is credited with transforming Australian soccer and founded the Lowy Institute, the nation's leading foreign policy think tank. From Holocaust survivor to global business icon, Sir Frank Lowy's life is the ultimate Australian immigrant success story. Number 3. Harry Triguboff. Cracking our top 3 is a man whose universally known nickname says it all: High-Rise Harry. Harry Triguboff is the undisputed king of apartment development in Australia, a man who has single-handedly and permanently reshaped the skylines of Sydney, Brisbane, and the Gold Coast. Triguboff's story is a classic tale of an immigrant outsider who, through sheer force of will, built an empire. He was born in China to Russian Jewish parents, educated in Australia, and tried his hand at a few odd jobs before finding his ultimate destiny in construction. In 1963, he founded Meriton and built his first modest block of 8 units in Gladesville, Sydney. At the time, apartment living was far from the Australian dream of a house with a backyard, but Harry had a clear vision that high-density living was the inevitable future for the country's rapidly growing cities, and he chased that vision with unwavering, often stubborn self-belief. For over 60 years, he has run Meriton with an iron fist, famously involving himself in every minute detail of his projects, even into his 90s. His business model was nothing short of revolutionary for its time. When the banks were hesitant to lend money to his apartment buyers, he became his own bank, providing vendor finance directly. He also pioneered the build-to-rent model in Australia, keeping a significant portion of the apartments he built to create a massive, continuous stream of rental income. This strategy made him incredibly resilient to property market downturns and economic shocks. In 2003, he brilliantly leveraged his vast apartment portfolio by launching Meriton Serviced Apartments, now known as Meriton Suites, turning his residential towers into a colossal hotelier with over 6,200 suites across the country. Harry Triguboff is a true force of nature, a man who saw the future in the sky and then built it himself, one apartment at a time. Number 2. The Pratt family. At number 2, we have the family that has frequently sat atop Australia's rich list, a dynasty whose influence you feel every single day in the cardboard boxes that arrive at your door, the Pratt family. As leaders of Visy in Australia and Pratt Industries in the US, they run the world's largest privately owned packaging and paper company, a global empire built on recycling and advanced manufacturing. The story began with a single factory in 1948, but it was Richard Pratt who took that foundation and transformed the family business into an industrial giant. He was a colossal figure in Australian business, a force of nature who championed a powerful philosophy of environmental sustainability long before it was a corporate buzzword. He built an incredibly profitable business on the simple, powerful idea of recycling waste paper into new packaging, a closed-loop system that was great for the planet and even better for the bottom line. Today, the empire is led by his son, Anthony Pratt, who took his father's ambition and truly made it global. He moved to the United States in 1991 to build Pratt Industries USA from the ground up, turning it into a multi-billion-dollar behemoth and the biggest manufacturer of corrugated cardboard in America. Anthony is famous for his audacious and headline-grabbing investment pledges, promising to pour billions of dollars into creating thousands of green manufacturing jobs in both Australia and the United States. The family's wealth is immense, with the Australian Financial Review's 2024 Rich List valuing them at over $27 billion. The fortune is shared between Anthony and his sisters, Heloise and Fiona, who are both recognized as billionaires in their own right. From a single factory to a global recycling juggernaut, the Pratt family's story is the ultimate tale of Australian industrial success. Number 1. Harry Triguboff, again. Wait, you might be thinking, didn't we just talk about Harry Triguboff at number 3? Yes, we absolutely did. But to comprehend the sheer earth-shattering scale of his wealth today, you have to bring him back for the number 1 spot. High-Rise Harry isn't just a developer, he has become an economic force of nature that has surged to the absolute pinnacle of Australian wealth. We talked about his brilliant business model, but this is what happens when you execute that model relentlessly and without compromise for over 60 years. Meriton isn't just a builder, it's the country's largest private landlord on a scale that is difficult to fully comprehend. He has built nearly 80,000 apartments in his career, and by strategically keeping thousands of them as rental properties, he created a colossal self-perpetuating engine for wealth. Today, the empire is led by his personal fortune has exploded, cementing his position at the very top of the nation's rich lists. His fortune is now estimated to be near $30 billion. In a move that perfectly captures his singular self-belief, he has floated Meriton on the stock exchange and then bought it back, concluding that nobody could run it better than he could. Harry Triguboff is more than a builder. He is a market maker who literally bent the Australian property landscape to his will. His story is a masterclass in vertical integration, unwavering self-belief, and long-term vision, cementing his status as one of the very wealthiest people in Australia. These families represent just a fraction of the incredible and enduring contribution of Jewish entrepreneurs to the Australian story. Their sagas of resilience against unimaginable adversity, their relentless innovation, and their deep commitment to philanthropy have shaped the nation in countless powerful ways. What part of their journey did you find most inspiring? Are there other major family businesses you think deserve a spot on this list? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey into Australia's business history, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. From the humble kosher butcher shops of Carlton to the glittering boardrooms of global corporations, the journey of Australia's biggest Jewish family businesses is, in many ways, the story of modern Australia itself. The common threads that run through their histories are powerful and impossible to miss. A past forged in adversity, an immigrant's unyielding drive to build something permanent, a deep and abiding belief in family, and a profound commitment to giving back to the community that gave them a home. They didn't just build businesses, they built entire communities. They didn't just invest for short-term profit, they invested to lay down deep, lasting roots for future generations. Their incredible legacies aren't just measured in their billions of dollars, but in the tens of thousands of jobs they've created, the world-class institutions they've funded, and the powerful example of resilience and generosity they've set for all Australians to come. Thanks for watching.